We're going through an extremely challenging time with India right now, but that's why it's so important for us to have diplomats on the ground working with the Indian government there to support Canadians and Canadian families. We're taking this extremely seriously, but we're going to continue to engage responsibly and constructively with the government of India.
In moments of tensions, because indeed there are tensions between both our governments, more than ever it's important that diplomats be on the ground. And that's why we believe in the importance of having a strong diplomatic footprint in India. That being said, we are in ongoing conversations with the Indian government, and we will continue to protect them.
India-Canada bilateral relationship has clearly hit a rough weather when now we have learned that a lot of Canadian diplomats have to pack their bags and leave for their home country because India has asked for a parity in rank and strength of the number of diplomats that could represent on the soil of India, because about 40 odd diplomats from Canada are extra in numbers what the Indian side has deployed in Canada. So the several missions across the country will have to cut down on number of diplomats that we'll be having across the country, and many of them will have to go back maybe in a week's time, because we have learned that 10th of October is the date by which India has given the Canadian side an kind of ultimatum that they should be going back, or else there can be downgrading in their stature, the diplomatic impunity, something that can go away for those diplomats. So probably that will be more chaotic situation, and Canada would like to avoid the situation. What is the comment of Canadian side on the entire issue? They have been very cautious on the entire episode, and the latest is that Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said that he will continue to engage responsibly and constructively with the government of India. He's also said that we are going through an extremely challenging time right now, so that's why it is so important for us to have diplomats on the ground working with the Indian government there to support Canadians and Canadian families. So also whether Canada will also reciprocate in sending away some of the Indian diplomats present in Canada. On that question, the Prime Minister of Canada said that we are not looking to escalate. We are going to be doing the work that matters in continuing to have constructive relations with India through this extremely difficult time. So this is what his entire gist has been, that they do acknowledge the fact that the relationship has hit a bad phase, and there is something that needs to be done, and for that they need to be engaged regularly, constructively, and cooperate on various issues of bilateral interest, especially on the issue of people-to-people interest. Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly also reacted on the statement, but she was very alert that she should not say any word that goes against the policy of the current government in Canada, or that could impact the bilateral relationship in some other way. So while reporters repeatedly asked her what kind of steps Canadian government is going to take, what kind of contact or engagement Canadian side has been having with India on the entire episode, she maintained 2-3 lines of reply, and that was, we have asked them for cooperation on the investigation of Mr. Nijjar, and at the same time we have been in close contact, continuing to engage on the questions of a diplomatic relationship. She has also said that some of the diplomacy or some of the engagements on the issue of bilateral relationship or the diplomatic relationship are best done privately. So she did not comment directly what kind of engagement, what kind of conversation is going on between the two sides. We have seen the Canadian side asking for the cooperation on the entire investigation in the Nijjar's killing, and India has been maintaining that they need to have some evidence or some proof, and they will look into it provided Canadian side hands them over to the Indian side. And this is where the relationship has been. We have seen India issuing several advisory, which has kind of resulted in some of the challenging times that one can say. Advisory has been issued for safety and security concern to the Indians living in Canada, and they have been asked to be very alert and aware of the fact that there is a diplomatic row that is going on, and with the kind of changing political scenario, the security can be compromised at times, so they should be very alert on the issue. So that is the kind of sense that India has sent to the people or the Indians living in Canada. And so far, despite asking many times by Indian NSA, they have not been able to give any evidence. This is what also we have learned, that no evidence has been shared with the Indian side so far. And Canadian Sikhs have families and businesses in Punjab. Punjab Sikhs from Punjab have a lot of businesses in Canada. About 8 lakh Sikh population is living in Canada. About 10 lakh Hindu or other religious community population is also living in Canada. So about 1.6 to 1.8 million is the current number of people that constitute 4% of the overall Canadian population that lives in Canada. They have been living happily, harmoniously, only with a fragment of the entire population of Khalistani, violent, propagandists who have tried to create a divisive politics in Canada, who have tried to, disrupt the harmony that has been living, that has been in the society, and that is happening ironically under the political patronage of some of the party members of Justin Trudeau government and one of the key ally of Justin Trudeau government, because he doesn't have a majority in Canada right now. But also we have seen, for decades there has been a kind of sympathy in Canada for these Khalistani elements, because they do hold some sway during the voting, and if any party has some sympathy or party has a popularity among Sikh members in Canada, they think that it will be easier for them to fight an election or get elected. So that has been the reason why so many political parties have avoided to confront the issue of Khalistani terrorism in Canada in the past also, and even in the current context also. We are not seeing much of political upheaval or politically charged up commentaries coming from Canadian side on the issue of terrorism. That is the essence of entire bilateral relationship, why it has dwindled down and why India is not taking it lying low, because it has understood the fact that terrorism is an issue that needs to be taken very seriously, and it cannot be covered under the pretense of freedom of speech or democratic right of expression, and a secessionist activity, an activity that calls for annexation of Indian land of Punjab, and an activity that threatens and intimidates Indian diplomats on the foreign soil. That needs to be taken very seriously, and all the governments should take note of that. That has been India's stand, and after like almost 15 days of the entire controversy that has erupted ever since Canadian Prime Minister made that statement in the Parliament, it looks like Canadian side is trying to de-escalate the entire scenario, when India has kind of literally taken it full frontal and asked several of its diplomats, dozens of them, to leave India by 10th of October. And it has also asked advisory for Indian people living there. It has also stopped processing visa for Canadian citizens who wish to come to India. So that has been the downside of bilateral diplomatic row that has erupted in India and Canada's